Welcome to Real English Voices. I am Tom.
And I am Maria. Hello, everyone. We are so happy to have you with us today.
Today, we are diving into a topic that I think every single person listening can relate to. It is something that affects our relationships, our work, and honestly, just our daily happiness.
I am actually really excited about this one, Tom, because we are talking about emotions, specifically how to control them and how to take your power back when you feel like you are losing it.
Exactly. We've all been there. You receive an email that makes your blood boil, or someone cuts you off in traffic, or maybe a friend says something that just hurts your feelings. In that moment, it feels like the emotion takes the steering wheel, and you're just a passenger.
Oh, that is such a good metaphor. Being a passenger in your own car. I have definitely felt that. It's like suddenly I'm not Ria anymore. I'm just this ball of anger or sadness. And later I look back and think, why did I react like that?
Right? And that's what we want to explore today. How do we move from the passenger seat back to the driver's seat? How do we stop reacting blindly and start responding with intention? Because when you can do that, you're not just controlling your temper, you're actually taking your power back.
I love that phrasing. Taking your power back. Because when we lose control, we're essentially giving our power away to someone else, right? If a rude comment ruins my whole day, I has basically let that rude person decide how I feel for 24 hours.
That's a powerful realization. If you let outside circumstances dictate your internal state, you become a victim of your environment. But Ria, before we get into the how-to, I have to ask you, when was the last time you felt like your emotions hijacked you?
Oh, wow. Putting me on the spot. Okay, I can think of one. Last week, I was working on a project and I had put so much effort into it. I mean, hours and hours. And I showed it to a colleague, expecting them to be impressed. And their first comment was just a criticism, a small, tiny criticism about the formatting.
Ouch, I can feel that sting.
It hurt. And instantly, I felt this wave of heat rise up in my chest. I wanted to snap at them. I wanted to say, do you have any idea how hard I worked on this? I didn't say it, thankfully. But for the next hour, I couldn't focus. I was just stewing in that anger.
Stewing. That's a great word for it. Just sitting in the heat of the emotion. And that's exactly what happens. We get triggered. That criticism was a trigger. It poked at your insecurity or your desire for validation.
It really did. And the crazy thing is, looking back, the criticism was actually valid. The formatting was wrong. But in that moment, my brain treated it like a tiger was attacking me.
That's actually biology at work. We call it the amygdala hijack. It's a part of your brain that handles threats. It doesn't know the difference between a tiger trying to eat you and a colleague criticizing your font choice. It just says, danger, react, fight.
So we're basically fighting against our own biology? That sounds exhausting.
It can be, but the good news is that we have another part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logic and reasoning. The problem is when the emotion is high, intelligence is low. The logical brain goes offline. Our goal today is to learn how to keep that logical brain switched on, even when the heat is rising.
I really need this. I think our listeners do too, because learning English is stressful enough, right? Imagine trying to speak a new language and feeling embarrassed or frustrated. If you can't manage those emotions, you might just quit.
That's a perfect point. Emotional control is a superpower for language learners. If you make a mistake and feel ashamed, that's an emotion. If you can control that shame, you keep speaking. If you let it control you, you stay silent.
So, step one is recognizing that we're triggered?
Yes, awareness is the first key. You have to catch yourself in that split second before the explosion. You described it as a wave of heat in your chest. That's your physical cue. For some people, their hands shake. For others, their jaw clenches.
For me, my voice gets higher. I start talking really fast.
There you go. That's your signal. The moment you notice that, you have to hit the pause button.
But that's the hardest part, Tom. Hitting pause when you're already running at 100 miles per hour feels impossible.
It's hard, but it's a muscle you can build.
Tom, before we get into building that muscle, I think we should review some of the vocabulary we just used. We dropped some heavy words there.
That is a great idea. Let us look at the 3 hardest words from this first section. The first one is dictate. D-I-C-T-A-T-E. To dictate means to control or determine how something happens, like when Rhea said she let a rude person dictate her mood.
Right. It's like giving orders. The second word is validation. V-A-L-I-D-A-T-I-O-N. This is the feeling that you are accepted, correct, or worthy. When I showed my work, I wanted validation. I wanted someone to tell me I did a good job.
And the third word is hijack. H-I-J-A-C-K. To hijack normally means to take control of a plane or vehicle by force. But here, we used it to say the emotion hijacked your brain. It took control away from you.
Those are great words. So here's my question for our listeners. I want you to think about this and maybe answer out loud to practice your speaking. What is your physical sign that you are getting angry or stressed? Do your hands shake? Does your face get hot? What happens to your body?
That is such an important question to answer. Once you know your sign, you can start the work. So, Rhea, let us go back to that moment. You're feeling the heat. You want to snap at your colleague. You said hitting pause is hard.
It is. It feels unnatural.
I want to introduce you to a concept called the 90-second rule. It was popularized by a brain scientist. She says that the chemical reaction of anger, the adrenaline, the cortisol, only lasts in your bloodstream for about 90 seconds.
Wait, really? Only a minute and a half? Because I've definitely stayed angry for 3 days.
We all have. But here's the trick. The chemical surge is 90 seconds. If you're still angry after 90 seconds, it's because you're replaying the story in your head. You're fueling the fire with your thoughts. You're thinking, how dare he say that, or he's so rude. Those thoughts trigger a fresh wave of chemicals.
Oh my goodness, that makes so much sense. So the initial feeling is biology, but the lasting anger is choice?
In a way, yes. It's a harsh truth, but it's empowering. If you can just survive that first 90 seconds without adding fuel to the fire, the emotion will naturally dissipate. It will fade away like a wave crashing on the beach.
Dissipate. That's a nice word. So practically speaking, what do I do in those 90 seconds? Do I just stare at the person?
You can breathe. It sounds cliché, but deep breathing actually sends a signal to your nervous system that you're safe. It tells the amygdala to stand down. Or you can excuse yourself. Just say, I need a moment to think about that, and walk away.
I think walking away is better for me. If I stay there, my face will betray me.
And that's fine. Taking space is a sign of maturity, not weakness. It's you protecting your energy. Once you've stepped away and the chemical wave has passed, then you can bring your logical brain back online.
Okay, so the chemicals are gone. I'm calm. But I still have to deal with the criticism. The problem did not disappear just because I breathed.
True, but now you can deal with it using perspective. This is the second step, reframing the narrative. We talked about how we tell ourselves stories. He's rude versus he's busy.
Right.
In your case, the story you told yourself was, he thinks my work is bad and therefore I'm not good enough. That's a painful story.
It is. It cuts deep.
But what if the story was, he has a very sharp eye for detail and he wants this project to be perfect because he respects the team's reputation?
Wow, that feels completely different. It feels less personal. It feels like we're on the same side.
Exactly. The facts didn't change. He still criticized the font, but your interpretation of the facts changed. And because your interpretation changed, your emotion changed. You went from feeling attacked to perhaps feeling supported, or at least neutral.
That's really the key, isn't it? We can't control what people say to us. We can't control the traffic. We can't control the weather. But we have total control over the story we tell ourselves about those things.
Total control, and that's where your power lives. If someone insults you, you can tell yourself, this person must be having a terrible day to be this mean. Suddenly you feel compassion instead of anger. You just flip the script.
Flip the script. I like that idiom. It implies we are the writers of our own lives. But Tom, this takes a lot of practice. It's not easy to be logical when you're hurt.
It takes immense practice. It's a skill, just like learning English grammar. You'll make mistakes, you'll lose your temper sometimes, and that's okay. Forgive yourself and try again next time.
I think self-compassion is a big part of this too. If we beat ourselves up for getting angry, we just add more negative emotion to the pile.
Absolutely. You have to treat yourself like a friend. If your friend lost their temper, you wouldn't say, "You are terrible." You would say, "It is okay. You were stressed."
Tom, before we move to the final part of taking our power back, let us do another vocabulary check. These concepts are deep, and the words are important.
Agreed. Here are the 3 hardest words from the second section. The first one is dissipate. D-I-S-S-I-P-A-T-E. It means to disappear or fade away, usually used for smoke, fog, or in this case, emotions.
Like the anger dissipating after 90 seconds. The second word is narrative. N-A-R-R-A-T-I-V-E. A narrative is a story or an account of events. But in psychology, it means the story you tell yourself in your head.
And the third word is interpretation. I-N-T-E-R-P-R-E-T-A-T-I-O-N. This is the way you explain or understand something. Your interpretation of an event determines how you feel about it.
Okay, listeners, here is your question for this section. I want you to think of a time someone annoyed you, maybe a boss or a family member. Can you think of a different narrative? Can you create a reason for their behavior that makes you feel less angry? Try to say it in a sentence.
That is a challenging exercise, but it changes everything. Now, Ria, let us talk about the final piece of the puzzle. We have paused, we have reframed. Now, how do we take our power back in a long-term way?
I think it has to do with boundaries.
Spot on. Boundaries are how we teach people to treat us.
I used to think boundaries were mean, like telling people no or shutting them out. But I'm realizing they're actually necessary for healthy relationships.
They're essential. Taking your power back means realizing that you do not have to participate in every argument you're invited to. If someone tries to drag you into a drama or tries to make you feel small, you can decline the invitation.
Decline the invitation to the argument. That's brilliant. You can literally just not play the game.
Yes, you can say, "I can see you're upset and I want to discuss this, but not while you're yelling. Let's talk later." That's taking your power back. You're not being aggressive, you're being assertive.
Assertive. That's the balance between passive and aggressive. Passive means I let you walk all over me. Aggressive means I attack you. Assertive means I respect myself and I respect you.
Exactly. And when you live in that assertive state, your emotions are much more stable. You're not a leaf blowing in the wind anymore. You're a tree. The wind blows, the leaves might rustle, but the trunk stays solid.
I want to be a tree. I am tired of being a leaf.
We all are, and it starts with small moments. The next time you feel that trigger, remember this conversation. Remember the 90 seconds. Remember the narrative.
And remember that nobody can make you feel anything without your permission. That's a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, I think. It's always stuck with me.
It's one of the best quotes ever. You hold the keys to your own emotional house. Do not give them to strangers.
Tom, this has been such a deep conversation. I feel calmer just talking about it.
Me too. It's a good reminder for me as well. I still struggle with this, especially in traffic.
Traffic is the ultimate test of emotional control. If you can be zen in traffic, you are a master.
Let's do one final vocabulary wrap-up before we say goodbye. We had some good ones in this last section.
We did. Let's review.
The first word is assertive. A-S-S-E-R-T-I-V-E. This means having a confident and forceful personality, but in a respectful way, standing up for your rights without being rude.
A very important skill. The second word is boundaries. B-O-U-N-D-R-Y-E-S. These are the limits you set with other people to protect your own mental health and well-being.
And the last word is decline. D-E-C-L-I-N-E. To decline means to politely refuse, like declining an invitation to an argument.
So here's my final question for you listeners, and this is a big one. What is one situation in your life right now where you need to set a boundary? Is it with work hours? Is it with a friend who complains too much? Think about where you need to take your power back.
That is a life-changing question. I hope everyone takes a moment to really think about it.
And remember, doing this in a second language is double the work. You're managing emotions and managing grammar at the same time. You are all doing an amazing job just by being here and listening.
Absolutely. Be proud of that effort. Controlling your emotions is a journey, not a destination. You'll have good days and bad days. The goal is just to have more good days than bad ones.
And we're here to help you through it. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know. We love hearing your stories.
Thank you for listening to Real English Voices. Keep practicing, keep breathing, and keep taking your power back.
See you next time. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.